Hi, guys. Welcome to Glam Chats. I'm excited you guys are tuning in today. I've got some important content to share with you guys. Do you know that feeling when you look 6 weeks out on your books and there's nothing there, zero, or even worse, 3 weeks out and there's no clients, nothing's booked? Well, today I want to help you guys know how to have consistently busy books and profitable weeks. There is a technique to this. I also want to address some of the information that's out there right now. That's not bad information, but it's not for everybody. And you guys know I do this a lot. I talk about information out there that might be geared towards stylists that are so busy their books are overflowing. And that's great information, but if you're already that stylist, you probably already know what to do. So if you're seeing information that tells you to close your book 30 days and only allow 30-day in advance booking, the point of that is to allow you flexibility, and that's wonderful because that means 30 days from now, your schedule's wide open. You can book doctor's appointments. You have freedom. I love that for you when your books are super busy. What I don't love is if you've got your books closed, you've got clients that love to book in advance because they have crazy work schedules or they're super busy or they're just planners. I'm a planner. I call my waxer, Tori. She works at our Gateway location of Bex& Co. I messaged her the other day and I was like, hey, can we book through August? And I see her every month. And it's just because I want to know my schedule. So if she would have said, oh, I only open my books every 30 days, I would have been like, oh, okay, gosh. Yeah, let me get in touch with you. Can you let me know as soon as they're open? It would make me feel very, very nervous. So I understand why we do it. The problem is some clients don't like it and it doesn't build any security. I don't want to look at my books in 30 days and see zero clients on my book. So while that information is helpful and it's not necessarily bad information, right now, if your books aren't full, what I want to provide you with is information that's going to let you look at your books 6 weeks, 8 weeks, even 12 weeks from now and see enough clients, not only to pay your rent, but to make a really, really good profit. And that's going to make you feel safe and secure. So I really want to give you concrete tips and tools on how to do this. One of the first things I want to talk about, and I think for some reason we've moved away from this in the last year or two, is client experience. And I am a pro at client experience. I say this to you all the time, and maybe I shouldn't, but I am an average hairstylist. I kept up with trends. I did do education. I wouldn't say that I'm by any means the best. Nobody's seeking me out for the newest haircuts. I'm good at what I do for sure. I'm consistent, but I'm definitely not the top stylist in Austin, and I never have been. But what I am amazing at is business. And I'm amazing at building a client experience and developing a relationship with my clients. And this is what has kept me so busy and making so much money for 20 years. So some of the things I am going to offer up to you might be things you're already doing, but I want you to just take it to the next level. I want you to think of your client's experience as curtain up, curtain down. So the second that they walk into the door, that's when the curtain of the stage goes up, and everything from that moment should be great. Now, I know because I work in my own salons, Bex and Co, that you might not have a receptionist that greets the client, or if you do have a receptionist, they might not be greeting the client in the way you want them to. So, what I recommend is always being aware of your timing, always being aware of when your client's walking in the door. Now, this might be something as simple as, hey, Susan, so good to see you. I'm going to be right up with you. I'm about 5 minutes out from being finished with my appointment. I'll be right up. They smile, they wave. Hey, let me know if you need something to drink. Something as simple as that. And it's not going to damage the client's experience that's sitting in your chair. It's just acknowledging that that client is here. Now, if I am running behind, I will gently tap my client on the shoulder and I'll say, hey, I'm just going to go let my next client know I'm a few minutes behind. I'll be right back. And I will walk over to that client and I'll be like, hey, I am so sorry. I'm running about 10 minutes behind. I will be right up here with you as soon as I can. You're welcome to step out and grab coffee. Or can I get you something to drink while you sit, a magazine? And they're like, oh, no big deal. I'll just sit here. It's fine. Or I'll go grab coffee. Do you want anything? Right. But it's taking that time to acknowledge you're running behind and letting your client know. It also gives them the opportunity to say, oh gosh, I'm actually in a really big hurry. And at which point I can say, okay, I'm going to finish up as fast as I can and I'll be right up here with you. Or let me get somebody started shampooing you, or whatever that looks like for your business. But it's acknowledging that that client is there. That's the first step. Step two, I try to always be consistent. So I will walk the client back to my chair. I will ask them personal questions about how they're doing. How are you? I'll remember something about them if they're a sharer. Some clients aren't. But if they are a sharer, I'll say, how's Steven? How's his new job? They'll let me know and then I'll be like, great. What do you think today? What do we want to do? I don't care if you've seen this client 100 times. You are always going to ask them, what do we want to do today? What are you thinking? Even though they're going to say, oh, just the same thing. I just need a touch up and a trim. Perfect. Is there anything that isn't working for you? Are there any changes you wanna make? Everything feels good? Everything's great? Yep, everything's great. Perfect. Then you can go back and mix color. But I want you to always make that client feel like they have the opportunity to let you know if they wanna change, and that it's totally okay for them to make a change, because one of the number one reasons clients leave their stylist is because while they like what they're doing, they might want some small change, and the stylist isn't giving them the opportunity to ask for the change. So the stylist already has them booked or already has their color mixed or is already started applying before they can say, "Hey, I actually, wanted to add a few low lights," or whatever it might be. "I wanted to go 2 inches shorter." If you are already cutting before you've even asked them what to do, sometimes they won't speak up. So we always want to give them the opportunity to fix or change anything that they don't like about their haircut, or color. Now, the next thing I want you to do is to try to connect with your client. Now, some clients don't want to connect, and part of connecting with a client could be acknowledging that they're maybe not a talker, or that they want to work, or that they want to sit in silence. And connecting with them gives them permission to do that. So you might just say, "You know what? I'm going to let you work and I'm going to work quietly, and you let me know if you need anything at all." That gives them permission to be quiet, and it gives you permission to just work on their hair, and there's no awkwardness about not talking. And that's a way of making a connection. Now, your client might be a talker. This is someone that, while I might not share a lot of personal stuff about myself because it's hard for me to perform a technical skill and chat, I might give them space to talk. And I just listen and I ask questions that are valid to them. And I try not to overstep any personal boundaries. But, if they're talking about their child's teacher or whatever it might be, I might just be like, oh gosh, that is really stressful. And oh my goodness, I've heard other people say that, and just really let them chat. And then at their next appointment, I might say, "Hey, how is Kinsey with her teacher? Did everything turn out okay? Were you able to have that conversation?" That's creating a relationship, and that builds loyalty with the client. So, if they're ever consider leaving you, it's harder for them to do that. Not that we're trying to make it hard to leave, but they're not just thinking about how you colored their hair last time or if you made a mistake. They're thinking about, "Gosh, I'm really connected with Bex, and she's actually a friend of mine, and I love chatting with her. And so I'm going to let last time go, even though it was a little inconsistent or my cut was a little short or whatever, because we can't always hit home runs. But they're going to be more willing to offer you grace if you've connected with them. The next part of creating an amazing client experience is giving clients space to let you know if they don't like something and being super open to making changes, whatever that looks like. So I know this is a hard one. Sometimes we're running behind. Our next client's sitting up front, and the client is kind of picking at their hair and saying, "Gosh, I feel like this side might feel a little thicker, or maybe I want to go an inch shorter. I don't know. Something feels." We want to give them the space to do that comfortably in our chair, and we can say, "Okay, great. Let me take a look. Is it right here that you're feeling the issue? Okay, let me take a little bit out and see if that feels a little bit more like what you're wanting to feel in your hair." And then ask him, "Can you reach up here and feel and see if this feels like what you had in mind?" A lot of times that's all it takes to make them happy and they feel seen and they feel heard. Now, what we don't want to do is say, "Okay, well, I have already thinned it out for you, and this is exactly what you asked for, and this is what is in the picture. So, unless you want a whole nother haircut, which would have to schedule at another time and you'd have to pay for, I can't really fix it." And believe it or not, I have heard stylists become defensive and have that conversation with clients. I know it's easy to get there, especially with a client that's constantly like putting their hands in it and being like, "I don't know. I don't know. Do you think this is too short? Do you think this is too long?" And you want to be like, "No, I don't think it's too short or too long. I did the cut. I think it's perfect." But we just want to offer them the space to feel through their hair and let you know if they have an issue. It's so much better to correct the issue right then and there, especially if it's going to take 1 minute, than to have them call back and have to come back, which is okay too, or to have them leave and not come back because they didn't feel like they could tell you that they didn't like what you did. So we want to give them space to let us know whether or not they like what we've done and how we can correct it for them. And lastly, one thing I do whenever I walk clients up is I store client cards. So I say, "Hey, do you want me to put on the card on file?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, just add 20%." I'll be like, "Great, I'll see you next time." And they already have their appointments pre-booked. If they don't have their appointments pre-booked, which is the next thing that we're going to talk about, I'm going to be like, "Hey, I know I see you every 6 weeks. I know you like Tuesdays at noon because I know this client." And I'm going to say, "How about March 14th at 12 o'clock? Does that work for you?" And they're gonna look at their calendar and say, "That's great. Thank you so much." I'll be like, "Great. I'm just gonna book it for what we need if that's okay with you." And they're gonna say, "Perfect." So we've streamlined that process of getting out the door so that they don't feel like they're having to do so much work. We're doing the work for them and we know them. So that's kind of some of the things I do. The next thing is elevating the client experience. Maybe you add a longer head massage. Maybe you give them some sort of relaxing experience during the appointment, something that sets you apart. Maybe you do. I worked with a stylist that did like a mint on her hands. I think this was an Aveda technique and had them breathe in so that they could breathe in the mint before they started their massage. Or my stylist at Cedar Park, Rhea, she does a hot towel or a warm towel on your neck after she puts your hair down after the shampoo. And those are just small things that elevate the experience and set you apart from someone else. It might even be 3 minutes longer at the shampoo bowl during a head massage. I mean, it's not that hard to do. It's 3 minutes out of your day, and that client's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm coming back because I love this part." So, elevate the client's experience so that they wanna come to you. Now getting into kinda nitty-gritty, pre-book appointments. Again, I know that there's information out there that tells you not to do this and let them to go online and book and not to open your books. Um, I personally wanna look at my books and I wanna see them booked out. I can always call a client and let them know that I am unavailable at a certain time if they're booked 6 months out, and they're really flexible about moving that appointment. So, it's not that big of a deal to pre-book. When I was in my last year of doing hair, I was so in demand that I pre-booked my appointments out every 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and 12 weeks. So, the clients, didn't really have options as to when. It was like, "I will see you every 4 weeks on a Tuesday. If that doesn't work, I'm sorry, I can't do it." For me, that worked really well. My clients were very regular. I did a lot of gray touch up. They were flexible with me. And so my schedule was set. I saw the same people. And I know that this doesn't always open up room for ideal clients. But at this point in my career, when I was starting to step away from doing hair, it was amazing to know exactly what my day was going to be, exactly what I needed to do, exactly how much money I was going to make. And I knew that that money was secure for however long I wanted to do that. So that was amazing. Now you might not be there yet, most people aren't, but what you do need to do is think about your client at least getting them on for their next appointment. I don't care how long that is. It might even be a toner. So let's say you've just done this beautiful lived in color. You might say, "Listen, I want this color to stay amazing. I love what we've done today." One thing that's going to maintain it and save you money over time is to do a toner and a gloss in about 6 weeks. The price on that is $140. It's going to stretch you out even longer. Can we go ahead and pre book you for that appointment so that you get the time you want? It's going to make you a priority on my book and it's going to remind you to do it. And then let's book your next full color appointment 6 weeks out from now. Now, what I've done there is I've guaranteed that I see that client in 6 weeks to maintain their color, and then I guarantee I see them 6 weeks after that. So I booked their next 2 appointments, and I've guaranteed 12 weeks of people in my book. Now, if I do that with 20 people, I've got 20 people coming in every 6 weeks, and I know that that money's gonna come in. If I look at my book, I know that I'm secure and that I have clients booked even if someone cancels. So I really want you to make pre-booking a part of your system. Like my clients knew if they didn't pre-book, they might not even get in with me. Not pre-booking wasn't an option. So when we walked them up to the desk, we'd be like, "Okay, so we're gonna book again in 6 weeks. We're gonna do your color, we're gonna do your cut. How does that sound? What date sounds good to you?" And my clients would say, "Oh, let me look at my calendar." And I didn't if a client was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to book again," I would say, You certainly don't have to schedule. I just want you to be a priority on my book. So even if you have to cancel or reschedule, as long as you do it 48 hours in advance, you're a priority on my book above anybody else booking. And so I really just want to keep us on track. And they'd say, oh, well, in that case, great. And what wound up happening is I trained all of my clients to pre book. So every time we walked up to the desk, it was just assumed that they were going to book their next appointment, which guaranteed my books. Next, I want to talk about memberships and subscriptions. My med spa um, does a monthly draw for my account, and it's for about $150. And I know that that's going to go towards my next appointment. So I love that because I'm guaranteed to come because I know that the money has already um, been taken from my account. It's like girl math, right? My next appointment's basically free because I've already prepaid for it. So, depending on what kind of services you offer, especially gray coverage, that's a great option for you. And that depends on how you want to do it. It might be a draft, a monthly draft. It might just be that they sign up for their appointment every month and that you take it out the day that they're coming in. Lots of options there. Um, my waxer, Victoria, just started doing this and she's having great luck with it so far. Next, I want to talk about product sales. Um, Product sales are important because they're going to build loyalty with our client. So, whenever I say this, it's not just about the money you're going to make from selling the product. A lot of people think that owners push product sales just to make money. They do. Product sales make money. They're great, right? You make money off product sales. They're amazing. But really, it's about being your client's guru. They're gonna go to you for everything. So you are protecting your client's hair by guaranteeing that they're using the products you recommend, and they're gonna come see you in between appointments to pick up these products from you. So product sales are more about you protecting their investment, building trust with the client, and it's gonna make them be more likely to come back. So I love a good product sell. These are ways to build that relationship and guarantee time with your clients. So product sales are amazing. Next, I really like to connect clients to my people. So I'm going to refer my clients to my waxer, to my injector, to any of my people that I see, because that builds loyalty too. So they know if they're going to see my waxer and the person who does my injections, I mean, even my dentist, I've referred people to my dentist, but you become kind of intertwined in their life. So when they go see the waxer is going to say, oh, when was the last time you saw Bex? So you're constantly going to be talking about they're gonna be talking about you. So this keeps you in the forefront of their mind. So don't be scared to connect to your clients, to the people you use for your stuff so that they feel very connected to you and they feel like they trust you a little bit more. These are just more ways to build relationships with the client so that they will continue to come back to you. They feel like they're in a safe space with you. My clients that I've had for 10 years know so much about me. I've referred them to so many people. And I think that this is just an important part of building that loyalty and that relationship with your client. Um, so, really, what it all comes down to, and I'm trying to give you real techniques to keep them, and they all seem kind of abstract, but your client, it's important how you do their hair. It's important that you're consistent and it's important that you do a good job. But in the end, what your client is going to remember because their hairstyle is going to change over years and they're going to love some of them and they're not going to love some of them. But the most important part is how you make your client feel. So, aside from the concrete things we've talked about, like pre booking, selling products, possibly setting up a subscription or a membership, which you could do through Square, we also want to really think about how we communicate with our clients, the relationships we build with them, the connection we make, and how we make them feel when they're with us. Because this is what's going to keep clients returning to your chair. It's what's going to guarantee that you have them booked out long term and that you have security and that you're going to continue to be able to build income. Thanks for tuning in. This one's a little bit shorter, but I really want you guys to focus on that client relationship. Focus on getting those clients on the book when they leave at the end of their appointment. And think about some things like possibly subscriptions or ways that you can guarantee that they're gonna be coming back to you.